Hi. I'm going to be reading from Romans 7:16. Okay. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. The phrase if then I do that which I would not presents Paul as doing something which is against his will. In other words, he doesn't want to do it and is trying not to do it, but finds himself doing it anyway. In reading what I've just said, many would conclude if Paul, or anyone for that matter, was doing something against his will, in other words, trying not to do the thing, then surely God would not hold him responsible for such an action. Yes, God did hold Paul responsible for these failures, and he holds all other believers responsible as well. It is the same principle with the sinner. He cannot help his condition because of his original sin. And in truth, God does not actually condemn him for that. No, that does not mean that such a condition or situation constitutes salvation, for it does not. While God may not condemn the individual as such, the individual stands condemned already due to the very fact of original sin. The idea is that the accountability comes in by man refusing to accept God's plan of salvation, which he has provided in the atonement. In other words, God has the antidote for men's problem of sin, but most men refuse to accept it. That is where the condemnation comes in. Accountable? It works identically with the believer. The fact of him having a sin nature is not his fault, being born into the world with a condition. However, the Lord has provided a remedy for the condition, for the situation. Let me restart. However, the Lord has provided a remedy for the situation in what Christ did at Calvary. The believer not taking advantage of that, whether through ignorance or self-will, is the problem. In other words, the solution is there if the believer wants the solution. As with Paul, it may not be easy in coming, and there might be quite a few failures before the truth is reached. Nevertheless, the remedy is available. If he earnestly seeks God, even as Paul if he earnestly seeks God even as Paul did, which would serve as an example for us, the Holy Spirit will see to it that the remedy is found. In fact, we are giving here the remedy which is available to all. I lost my button. Okay. So, no matter how hard one tries in the flesh, or how sincere one may be, or well motivated, or one's efforts are misplaced, one will not find the victory which only truth brings. So the believer is accountable in any case. The phrase "I consent unto the law that it is good" simply means that the law of God is working as it is supposed to work. In other words, my wanting to do the opposite of what I do proves my acceptance of God's law as good. The idea is that the law has pointed out the sin in the believer's life, also showing its terrible wrong. However, the law gives no power to obey the commandment because it was never meant to give such power. Consent, the word consent in the Greek is sumthemi, and means to speak together with, or concur with. Paul is saying, I don't want to do this thing which is wrong, and the law does not want me to do this thing which is wrong. Consequently, the whole scenario proves that the law of God is performing its intended purpose. Paul is also saying that it is not the law's fault that he is failing, but rather his own fault. However, man has a tendency to want to blame the law of God instead of their own evil and wickedness. No, the commandment is not wrong. In fact, it is good. It is the sin in us and our reproach to that sin which is wrong. Hope that helped. Have a good day.